I went to LA. I can't say this enough, with $1,500 total to my name
Wow.
in a 1985 standard shift Nissan Sentra. Didn't know no air conditioning, didn't know anybody, had no connections, had never played any instruments really successfully, had never written any songs. I went there with the idea this is what I'm going to do.
You are listening to the 5 a.m. podcast, and today is your day. Good morning, early risers and dream chasers. Welcome to another edition of the 5 a.m. podcast, where we start the day with conversations that inspire action. Now, I'm your host, as usual, Michael Clausen, and joining us today is a true Renaissance man who embodies the spirit of it's never too late to pursue your dreams. That's from Troy Horn. Troy's life reads like an adventure novel, with chapters spanning the entertainment world, literature, and beyond. He's a 3-time best-selling author who sold over, get this, 287,800 copies of his nonfiction books. That is a feat, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. But that's just one facet of his remarkable journey. Troy competed on Star Search, showcased his vocal talents on NBC's The Sing-Off, and opened for bands like Steve Miller and Government Mule. Now, Broadway enthusiasts might recognize him from his role as Tom Collins, which I thought was just a mix for your beverage, in the iconic musical Rent. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Troy is a devoted father of 3 who's channeled his life's experiences into inspiring and empowering people over 40 to live their dreams. Troy's passion is beautifully captured in his book, Middle Management, a guide for middle-aged individuals seeking to reignite their purpose and pursue long-held aspirations. Now, what makes Troy's perspective so valuable is that he's lived the very journey he writes about: reinvention, pursuing passion across different domains, and finding new purposes at different stages of life. Now, before I welcome our guest today, please share this with 3 of your friends I know that many are going to enjoy and, dare I say, profit from this conversation. So, Troy, it is an absolute pleasure to welcome you to the 5 a.m. podcast today.
Michael, man, this is so much fun. Thank you for having me. This is cool. I'm excited. I'm
Good.
very excited.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to adding some spice to life. And, the 9-to-5ers, who I used to be one, and sitting in that office, hoping nobody opens your door because you don't want to talk to anybody. You just want to get your work done, or you got to finish that Netflix series. I don't know.
Hey,
things have
right?
changed, man. Things have changed in this
Squid
world.
Game is on, you got to make sure definitely.
Man, those Koreans,
awesome.
boy, they can pen a script, can't they?
Man, I love that show so much. It's so fun, but hey, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll just call an audible. We'll talk about Squid Games because some people, when you're looking at a piece of art, and I consider television and film to be art.
Yes.
The picture that you see is not just the picture for you to observe. It's like Patch Adams, when God rest his soul, Robin Williams, he had that point in the movie where he held up his hands and he asked somebody, how many fingers and thumbs do you see? And if you didn't look beyond the hand, you just saw 4 fingers and 1 thumb. But if you looked beyond, you saw far more than what was available. And so in Squid Games, there's like storylines within storylines. There's a lot going on, especially in the second season. And it's a fascinating portrayal, not only of the human condition, but what do you take away from, like, maybe the metaphors or allegories of Squid Games?
Ooh, the biggest thing that I take away from Squid Games is like, wow, that's a very good question.
It is, yeah.
Wow, let's say metaphor. Metaphors 1 is it's a pretty interesting competition. Number 2, I guess I think everyone's really trying to do their best is a big thing I would kind of pull from that.
Yeah,
everyone's trying to do their best for their situation, and oftentimes, even though we make it personal, it's not personal.
right.
It's not like it's not a personal deal.
It's similar in a sense to Alice in Wonderland. Or Borderlands, right? Alice in Borderlands, is that what it is?
Okay.
Alice in Borderlands, not
Yes,
with the The
Wonderland.
bunny
Yeah.
with the pocket watch. Sorry about that.
Yes. Yes.
Alice in Borderlands. My mistake there, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what's interesting about Squid Games is the exploitation of desperation and how we all have choices. And we can get to a spot in life where we feel so desperate and somebody comes along and we think they've got a red card or a golden ticket. And being able to, what was interesting to me in the second series of Squid Games is the guys trying to find the gamer in the subway. And that's that story of, if you don't have your wits about you, boy, someone else is going to steal your lunch and pop the bag.
Hey.
And I think I totally get the gore factor and the needless killing factor. I understand that part. But
yes.
even if you consider the two brothers that we meet throughout the first season, one brother is actually trying to betray the career of his brother. He's trying to do the right thing. And then to see him spend his time and treasure with the fisherman on the boat. Come on, man, we got to find this island. And then the fisherman is like, man, I wish I never would have saved you. I thought I was doing something good for you.
So many complexities. I mean, yeah, with just life and again, trying to survive, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, man. Tale as old as time. Just told in a different way.
Yes.
And I don't know. I don't know if you're a fan of the Alice in Borderlands, but
I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen it.
I will not spoil that for anyone, but it's I think they did a fascinating job of blending realities.
So what's like the premise of it, just so I can get like a rough idea?
Okay, so there's a disaster that happens in Tokyo.
Okay.
I believe it's Tokyo.
Okay.
So these people are sent to this game world.
Okay.
And each game is a matter of life and death.
Okay.
And there are some very innovative and interesting games that these people have to play. And they're collecting a deck of cards and going up against the kind of the headmen, the suits of the deck of cards.
Okay.
And they don't know if they're in that gap between life and death. And we don't know if they're in that gap between life and death. But they really have to build alliances, look out for themselves, run the best game of their life. Yeah, it's and then they've got season 2 of that one coming out too, which again continues to blur that line between realities and realms and things like that. Yeah, so
we'll have to check that one out now.
Yeah. That was a good one. I can't believe I said Alice in Wonderland. I watch it because they've got the suit and the cards, and it does have to do with time and going down the rabbit hole and those kinds of things. But Alice in Borderlands, it's not for everyone. I get it.
Okay.
But I've enjoyed it, and it's nice that they bring back players and keys and things like that. But fascinating the way that writers will write a story, and that they can get points across that not everyone can pick up. Kind of like how Jesus had his disciples and he told them stories that nobody else could get because they weren't those parables, right? And so we still have modern day parables today, and that the human condition needs to be discussed. Troy.
Yes, sir.
Let us talk about your life and maybe they felt like zigs and zags to getting to where you are now. And the entertainment life is not an easy life when you have a song in your heart or your mind and you want to get it out and you have a talent. Can you talk a little bit about your journey and if there was a pivotal moment where you said, man, I think this airplane just might fly?
Funny that you asked that. The pivotal moment was, and I think this is with a lot of people, but to answer your question directly before I go down that rabbit hole, the pivotal moment for me was around 10 or 11 years old. I remember singing around the house, and I'll never get, my mom was like, hey, you're going to sing in church this Sunday. And I was like, no. And she's like, yes, you are. And, my sisters and I, we practiced singing a little song together in our trio, and I got up there and we sang, and I was terrified, but at the end they gave us a standing ovation, and at that moment I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That was the beginning. Now, of course, just like with Alice in Borderlands or in Squid Game, it's like after you accept the journey, it's like the calling or whatever. It's like now we get into some fun parts where there are some ups and downs and some moments where you're like, where the Cheshire Cat says,
Yes.
going to Allison, what you can do you want to turn around? And in those moments, those are the interesting moments, of
Yes.
the journey, definitely.
Yes. And figuring things out. I
Yeah.
We'll go back to Squid Games for a moment. So second season, and they're in one of the first no, I'm sorry, Alice in Borderlands. They're in the
Mm-hmm.
second season, they're in one of the first competitions,
Okay.
and they don't have the ground rules set. They don't even know they're it's kinda like they're just given these little slips of paper, and they have to, as a group, work together and figure it out, and figure out what it means, and what the punishment and what kind of the blessing, let's say, is of it. And so you're walking around the house, and you're probably thinking back to that 10-year-old you,
Yeah.
those songs that really lit a fire under that young Troy, what were they?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was only church songs because we weren't
Oh,
really
okay,
allowed to listen to anything else aside from that except until I got to high school. So
right,
it was mostly like gospel songs that, I heard on the radio that my mom was playing and stuff like
okay,
that. So
yes.
yeah.
But still, being able to put pen to paper and melodies to the paper was fascinating. What is that? Is that what attracted you to the music? Was it that individual, or was it that melody that came and you just couldn't get it out of your head?
Yeah, for me, it was the connection. And I think that's what it's always been through all of the parts of the journey, the zigs and the zags. It's like, how do we create or how do I gain connection with people? And so I think the thing that really made that a thing that I wanted to do was when they stood up, it's like I was connected to them. It's like we have a moment of human connection, really. I mean, that's the best way to explain it. Funny story. I when got older and decided I want to do this for a living, went to LA, and Michael, I had never like started a band. I'd never written a song. I could barely play any instruments, but I was like, I'm going to go do this. So I just added that because I'm like, people always say, you know, got to have all these things in place, and hopefully, just that little thing will let people know the best thing. The thing you have to do is decide what you want to do and begin,
Yeah,
and
just
and you
start
can learn
where
the
you're at.
rest. Just
Just
start.
start where
Yeah,
you're at. It might be your mother saying, "Guess what you're doing on Sunday, honey?
exactly, exactly.
You and your
Just
sisters
start.
are getting up on stage, trial by fire."
Yeah, it really was, man. Oh my gosh, I still remember it to this day. It's like, yeah, that was something. But
It was
had that not happened, yeah.
it was a formative experience. As youngsters, I remember the pitfalls of 10 years old. Let me tell you, there was a few of them, and they didn't stop. They just kept on the hits
Yes.
kept on coming. And so as you were kind of exiting school, those years down the timetable, did you know that you still wanted to be a musician? You weren't being dissuaded by jobs and just getting to work or anything like that?
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny because I was just invested in being a musician. It's like that's what I wanted to do. And, you know, there were a lot of discussions about what are the other things you might want to do, but music was it the whole time. It was like I just want to do music.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, hats off to you for pursuing that. And so then I want to ask you then about your time getting to be on NBC, because a lot of us
Mm.
watch those various shows, and they give us the B-roll and those pack stories of who's
Right,
in the auditorium waiting to go on, and the
right,
nerves,
right.
and I think of it from a production point of view of knowing that, oh, pack story, okay, this guy's going somewhere or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Can you talk about that process of actually getting onto a reality show like that, and what that process was for you, but what it did for you? How did it change you or benefit you?
The funny story is it's funny how life works, man. It's like I had a preview into that whole world by doing Star Search when I was in high school. And I didn't know, when I was doing Star Search in high school that this is a preview to what the sing off was going to be like. So, the sing off was something that happened kind of after I had done Rent. And so I was back home just in Denver, oddly
Okay.
enough. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was a producer on the show, The Sing Off. And he said there's this group called Urban Method. and they, need a bass because their bass either couldn't do the audition or whatever was the issue.
Okay.
And he was like, "Why don't you come and give it a shot and audition and see if you can do it?" And so I auditioned for the group and made the group. Mm. Yeah, then we were off to Los Angeles, to
Wow.
do the show, which was really cool.
Yes. Then it really starts to feel real, and you gotta beat down those butterflies that are flying around.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like everyone says, "Well, you'd already done so much, work before then. Do you still have butterflies?" The answer is absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
every
Man,
time.
different stage, different auditorium, different faces.
Right, right, right.
Man, all those things. And I would work on the other side, on the production side
Mm.
in the theater, setting up for shows and things like that. And so you would see the talent come in and out and the different acts come in and out. And there was it is impressive to me how we've all been created so differently, yet so much the same.
Yes, yes.
And so that leads me then to ask you about your book, Middle Management, and focusing on helping people over 40 live their dreams. So first off, I want to ask you about the inspiration for writing this book. And then maybe you could talk about some of the challenges that you think this age group demographic of dreamers faces.
So, well, another great question. So, after doing Rent and after doing like a lot of musical stuff, there was one year where I was gone for like 9 months out of the year. And I was like, I want to be home and, really pour into being a dad. And so I had been doing that, just being a dad and being an entrepreneur at home and that kind of a thing for a good like 12, 13 years, 14 years, somewhere in there, And my eldest was getting ready to go off to kind of just do school outside of the state. And then, and my youngest ones were in high school. And I found myself, going, okay, so now as they kind of grow up and become their own individuals, who am I? What do I want to do now? Because, you no longer have to go, hey, your homework isn't done, or did you do this? Because, they're getting to the age where they do it themselves. And so I had that moment. I think a lot of people have at that 40, 45. And oddly enough, I'm seeing online people are starting to have it even at 30, where they're like, I've done the things that I'm supposed to do. What do I want to do now that I want to do? That I mean, I was blessed to do some of the things that I was supposed to do and some of the things I want to do. But I was like, what does the second half looks like? Because there's a lot of time left. What do I want to do with this time? And so I found myself just really trying to find resources that kind of talked about that. And for whatever reason, the ones that I was finding were all kind of like saying, you know, this is it. It's like, you need to just relax and enjoy and I'm like, that's not where I am. That's not what I want to do. I want to, see if there's some way to make the most out of this. And it sent me on a journey of studying people who, were successful after their 40th birthday, some after their 50th. And I noticed, like you said, a pattern of things that they all did to get to this space of late in life success. So I tried them. And I was like, if this works, I'm going to, write this down and share it with people because I had done it before with my son. And we wrote a book called Mental Toughness for Young Athletes. And we wrote it to kind of help youngsters work through their mindset, and transition from youth sports to like club sports. And I had a great experience doing that. We still have a community of like over 15,000 or so people in there that we kind of talk with still as we're on that journey. So that was like, okay, so I can still be connected to people and share this experience and help them. So I was like, let's do this again. And middle management is that, let's do this again for people who are in that transition after 40. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And so fascinating for you to mention the sports angle as well, because
Mm,
man, there are so many reasons to be involved in sport. And I don't
yes.
think that there's one other. I understand that, there's the church and the church has its kind of reason to be and wheelhouse and impact on family and community. But boy, that being involved in sport and on a team, can you talk a little bit about the impacts on family life, but shaping the individual through sport?
Oh, wow. You know, the interesting thing about sports, which is the same thing as being in a band with music or being on a stage with other actors and musicians, is that it's a very interesting thing where on the stage or on the field or on the court, we have to know actually who we are as individuals. It's like you have to know the other actor, and I mean, you don't have to, but it's very beneficial if you know that person as a person outside of the actor or the musician or the athlete. Because then you can go, okay, now I know what this person's going to do and why they're doing it and why they're doing it this way. So I would say the beautiful thing about that, sports, music, and all the things is that, again, I'm just big on human connection. It's like you get to connect with people on a personal level and understand how the team comes together through understanding the person or the individuals that you're playing with or working.
Yes. And I guess much like acting in sport,
Hmm.
there's mental, there's physical preparation, there's the
Right.
food you eat, there's like self-imposed or team-imposed curfews. There's
Yeah.
who you can hang out with and who you shouldn't hang out
Oh
with.
my gosh. Right.
And so can you talk about maybe how athletes or maybe actors too, but more athletes in this situation of how their life has to change if they want success?
Yeah. So again, like you said, it's athletes, and it's really any type of person who wants to reach a higher level of performance or a higher level of career. And as hard as it is for kids and young people, it's like, man, how do I say this like and not like hurt
I
anyone's
know.
feelings? But
Just
I just
grab the tissue box, ladies and
right,
gentlemen.
right. It's like, okay, so you really have to be mindful of, the people that you're hanging out with. And you have to be mindful that we're going the same direction and that they have the same goals that you want to go to. Now, does that mean that you can't be on a team with people with different goals? Absolutely not. You can be on a team with people with different goals, but if you have a specific goal or desire, you can't really hang out with them outside of the team situation because they're doing things to go in a different direction. And it's just not the way that it works.
Yeah. Yes. We have to
Yeah.
learn to say no and goodbye.
Yeah. Yes. And I'll see you tomorrow at practice, but aside from that, it's like I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna hang out with
Yeah.
Joe or Sarah, whoever else who has the same
That's right.
goal. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to all those young athletes out there or the parents of young athletes, give your student athlete the opportunity to blame you.
Hey, how did you, yes, I do that. That's so funny. I do that all the time. I tell my kids, let me be the bad guy.
Yes,
Hey, my dad said I can't. Say my dad
exactly.
said, I don't mind. I can take it.
Yep,
Yes. That is so
totally.
funny.
But
Yes.
that's how parents help to build that
Yes.
individual that's going to be the next generation. Just a reminder that you can get all of our resources, other episodes, and read our blog posts at 5ampodcast.com. 5am Podcast is brought to you in part by mkci.ca, a certified member of the Autodesk Developer Network. MKCI helps companies maximize their AutoCAD, Inventor, Navisworks, and other design software investments. Their innovative products like the CommandSys script editor and the Clash Management Suite will streamline your workflow and boost your productivity. Visit mkci.ca today to discover how they can enhance your competitive CAD advantage. That's mkci.ca. Thank you for your support of 5am Podcast. And then eventually they will get it too. So I can do the same for somebody else.
Yes.
I can put
Yes.
myself down.
Yeah.
I can help somebody else get into
Yeah.
that spotlight
Yeah.
and to excel. Boy, oh boy. We're
That is
checking all
so
the boxes
funny.
today, my friend.
Yeah, man. That's funny. Like, again, yeah, that's great that you brought that up. That
Yeah,
others
man.
do that. That's funny.
Well, it's good. It's the that divine Holy Spirit connection there and
Yeah.
intervention, right? It crosses all barriers, boundaries, and time limits and all that good stuff.
Definitely.
But I wanted to
Definitely.
ask you about the opportunities you've had, speaking of sport and the
Mm.
legends. And anytime I think of the NBA, I think of little period of my life when I was in Chicago and you saw those larger than life murals of whoever the flavor of the years were at that time, but be able to drive through Chicago and see those enormous murals of the Bulls and other
Yeah,
people.
man.
And so you had the opportunity to interview Kobe Bryant and Chauncey Billups. What lessons about excellence and perseverance have you found applicable to from, let's say, who we'd call stars or idols or whatever the case might be, to everyday people chasing their own dreams?
Yeah. So at some point, again, you know what? Being successful or great at what you want to do is not comfortable and it's not traditional and it's not balanced. It's not, you know, um, comfortable, which I probably already said. But the thing that I picked up from them the most was at some point, if this is what you want to do, whatever that it is, whether it's music, sports, business, whatever, you have to become obsessed with whatever that craft is. That means obsessed means you wake up in the morning, you work on it, you think about it, and you read about it, you learn about it all day, and you work on it again at night, either after work or, right before you go to bed, and you do it again for months to years of that. You have to be, if that's what you want. I mean, if that's not what you want, that's fine. But if you want to reach those levels, both of them are like, you have to be obsessed with
Yeah.
the career or whatever it is that you're looking to do.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I think it's forced obsession.
Yeah.
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 I'm going to force myself. I mean,
Yes.
it's in our name, podcast. It is
Hey.
not easy. It is not easy to not hit the snooze button.
Hey. It's so
And
easy to hit that snooze button. It's so easy.
it's
Yeah.
like the default setting. Snooze, man.
Yes.
Snooze, you lose, though. Right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Hey. Exactly.
we all get to that. I remember in college, I didn't have the farm responsibilities. I didn't have the morning chores. I
Mm.
was, renting an apartment suite with another guy that was going to the same college, and I had to learn to manage my time because
Hey.
we didn't have curfews growing up. We had responsibilities,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're going to get up and answer to your responsibility. You decide when you're what's going to work
Hey.
for you. And
Right.
so I was hitting the snooze button, and I knew I had to get up and get ready for school. And I was like, 9 more minutes. And then all of a sudden, my lightning fast mind thought, wait, 9. So if I hit this 2 more times, I've just burned another 27 minutes in my bed. And, if you live to 100, you only have 5,200 Saturdays and Sundays, ladies and gentlemen. So we don't want to burn them. We want to
No.
use them and
No.
enjoy them.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so as we as we're making our way through this awesome conversation, how can people get in touch with you?
I made it really easy. You can go to troyhorne.com. Yeah,
Nice.
it's the easiest way. I've got all the stuff there.
And so can you give us a list of the books that you've written?
Sure, sure. I wrote, let's see, wow, okay. There's Middle Management, which is the one that's out now for people over 40. There are three entries for mental toughness for young athletes. One's for the athletes, one's for the parents, and then one's for kind of like after you've worked through the exercises. I wrote one called, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting my own book
I put
titles,
you on the spot. It's
right?
okay.
There's one called First Time Dad, which talks about just like being a dad and kind of working through my first birth because I was, well,
Okay.
not my first birth, but our first birth
Yep.
together because I was, very surprised at that process. So that kind of walks through that process. And yeah, there are a few other ones, but I'm blanking on my own book titles at this point, which is kind of
No, that's
sad. But
okay. How about This Is Where It All Ends?
this is where it all ends. Yes. So that one was about, just kind of really making the decision to go after whatever your dreams are in the middle, like not the middle of life, but like the beginning of life, like when you're 20, 25 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that
that makes
journey.
sense too, that you would actually have something like that. And then with the focus on sport and like you're saying, that mental toughness for let's say the teenage athlete,
Right.
man, like there's not a lot of things that can teach us mental toughness in the
Right. Right.
world that we're fortunate enough to live in.
Right. Right. Right.
And so Can you talk about, was there some examples in your life that you were able to draw on when you were writing that book about the mental toughness for those young athletes?
Yeah, so there are 8 steps we kinda go over there, but the ones that really resonated with me and that are coming to my mind right now is, 1, well, visualizing the goals that you want to achieve, spending some time really seeing yourself doing them. That stuff is strangely successful. Writing down your goals was another one that we kinda cover in that space. Also, not always training or not watch how them is called train rough. But it's like not always training in the nice facilities because, we live in this time now where kids go to the nice facility. They've got the nice basketballs, they've got the hoop, the air conditioning, and or whatever. They're either the swimming facility and it's all nice. And it's like about sometimes going to the not so nice facility and training there, having those visual cues be like, okay, look, we're gonna have to work today because everything isn't pristine and so those are the things that I learned as a musician, which also kind of became as a helping my youngster with sports because there were very many venues where it was like this is a rough venue, but we're gonna play it and make it work anyway. Yeah,
Yes, and that's good, and it really helps us put, mind over matter and situation, and I'm gonna execute what I've been training for regardless of what's
exactly,
around me.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
So, then switching back over to that book that we first mentioned, the middle management one,
Hmm.
because there's, like you're saying, even younger now of people into their 30s are like, "Wow, this like, the polish is off of this turd.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
surveying the scene,
yeah.
I'm not liking what I'm seeing."
Right.
And somebody once told me when I was out of college starting the career, "If you're
Mhm.
going to pick a place, look and see what kinds of vehicles are in the employee parking lot." And, as I know it's a tale as old as time, but
Yeah.
somebody might be listening to us and they're thinking, "Man, I missed the boat." You know,
Oh,
I feel like I'm too old. I feel like I'm writing page 237 in my book, and I don't know if there's another chapter.
yeah, yeah. No, you're not. And actually, the funny thing that I learned from writing this book was that the other times are great. The beautiful times at the beginning, you can do stuff there as well. But the one of the best times is now when your eyes are wide open, when you're like 40 and 50, and you have knowledge and experience. The experience you thought you had when you were 20, you actually have now. And it's like imagine it's like going through the school of life, if you will. And you've gone through, we all in high school, we all think, I'm the state, I've got 2 letters, I'm ready to
Yeah,
go. And then we get to college and we're like, everyone's got 2 letters. So now what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
in life at 40 and 50, it's like you've graduated from college and it's like the experience of life. And it's like now's the best time to apply all those things, because it's like you're kind of a Jedi master at this point. You're kind of like,
yeah,
yeah, it's
yes.
the perfect time.
It's the,
Yes.
firing, not retiring.
Right.
And also that aspect of looking at that as liberating you from the people who were using you to benefit them and
Mm.
your efforts. Hey, that's the game of
Hey,
life, right? Like
hey,
that's the
yeah.
way it goes. And hopefully one day we wake up and the light shines and we say, wait a second, I can do something better. I
You
can do something
know,
for myself.
yes, and I will say the first step I cover in that book, and this is just for anyone out there who's going through this thing, the first part of this journey that is the most difficult part. The rest is easy in comparison. And that is learning to be at what I call in walking meditation with your own voice, turning off all the radios and the car and the phone dings and learning to hear your own voice and then learning to trust that voice. That right there is the major part of the work.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we can feel like that squirrel from over the hedge.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
we just gotta like shut everything out
Shut it
and
all out.
shut
Yeah.
it all out. And man, that's a metaphor for life because we know our athlete friends that have had success. in that space and our business friends and the variety of spaces they've been able to shut out the distractions.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
definitely a learned behavior, and it's an uphill battle because we have so much coming at us,
So much.
so much
Yeah.
coming at us.
And you don't
And
even realize it.
yeah, you don't even realize it. I was watching a video over the weekend and somebody was saying, try this experiment. Get onto your device and turn it to grayscale. Take the color off. And I was like, oh man, I don't think I'm ready to have that conversation with you. But that's something that's an assignment that Michael's doing this week is turning the screen to grayscale. And yeah. I mean, that'll knock some wind out of the sails of all the distractions that are coming
Yes.
at us, right? Because we love the pretty
Yes.
colors.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. I'm
And
gonna
so
try that.
that's yeah, that the black and white endeavor out of or the grayscale commission or something
Yes.
like that. And it really is, life needs to be so intentional. We can use our intention. Man, like you were, talking about teams and who you're going to hang out with, and we travel in the same
Yeah.
direction as our teams. And when you have reinvented yourself, and there's different things that I've done where I've had to pivot out of either choice or necessity, but you've reinvented yourself multiple times through your career, and you're still standing. Obviously, you're eating well, you're breathing. And
Yes.
how did you stay motivated and creative when you were determining to start something new and get into the face of uncertainty?
Yeah. So in the younger years was just being honest, it was naivete. It was like I didn't know any difference. I was like, this is what I'm doing. It's like I have to do it. So I'm gonna do it. Yeah. And so being younger, it was like just a, kind of a mode of defiance and like this is what I'm gonna do. And everyone said I can't do it, so I have to do it. Uh, when you get old, or when I got older, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, there comes a time, and I think, we all have it, where you start seeing people your same age or people a little older run out of time.
Yes.
And for me, it's like you go, wait a minute. I'm at this stage now where it's like, if I were to go, no one's like, oh, they're gone too soon, or it's like, oh, he had a good life.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's like this thing of thinking, I um I don't have all this time that I thought I had before. So anything that I want to do, I need to do. I need to be about doing it now. And so that urgency has been the real motivating factor now. It's like you don't have time to hem and haw and think and weigh and look at the statistics of that. It's like you need to go.
Yeah.
You need to do. Yeah.
Urgency. That's
Yeah.
good. And fortune does favor the brave. As you were talking, I had a fairly large graduating class from high school
Mhm.
all those years
Mm,
ago. So my wife and I had this house in the hometown. I was like across the street and a door over from my mom's place. And
nice.
it was kind of nice being back in the hometown. And some guys from a paving company were doing some work on our back alley. And I walk out just to see what's going on. And this guy calls over to me and I didn't recognize anybody. And he's
Alright.
like, Michael, it's Michael. And I was like, no way. And he was like, yes. Anyway, the reason that I'm bringing up this interaction is because he was telling me that like he needed to do something different in his life. He didn't like the direction he was headed. He said, all of my circle of friends are all dead and gone. And I was like, dude, that's like a heavy conversation for us to be having
But it's
right now.
real.
And
Yeah.
it's so
So
real
real.
that we really have to be cautious of the messages that come in that we allow in to the eye gate and the ear gate. And boy, oh boy, that was a sobering conversation to have with another Michael. There was just a few of us in our graduating class, and we kind of, you got the same first name, so you get to know
Yeah.
each other. And but what a shocker for me, probably mid 30s, late 30s,
Mhm.
probably we were having this conversation. And I was like, wow, who are your friends, man? Like, Who are you talking about? They're like, the same age as us. And boy, it's sobering to realize we have to act with intention in our life, and it's not too late to
No,
start a new chapter. And
no.
you've obviously come up with something that people want and need, because you've sold 200, let's say 1,000 books in and through self-publishing as well, I
Right,
might add.
right,
What can you maybe say or encourage people? They're saying, I hear what you guys are saying. I'm on my way home from the night shift, which I hate,
right,
but I'm doing it
right,
because I'm paying the bills,
right. Oh
and
yeah, get it.
I'm not gonna see the missus because she's
Right.
leaving for her daytime job.
Lived it. Yes, yes.
And so where can some of these people find an exit to jump off on?
Okay. Well, first, not because of any other reason, but because I really believe it can help you, I would say go to Amazon and get Middle Management
Okay,
by Troy Horn. That was the first
that's
thing.
fair. I'll take it.
Because I read when I was reading it and re-editing, I'm like, this is helping me even after reading it. So I'm like, I would say do that because that's going to help you get your mindset right. Because mindset is the biggest part of the whole deal. Then I would say this. Here you have to reach the point where you're like, look, like you said, I know I want something different. Like your friend at the construction camp, or the construction site. I want something different. And I'm willing to one, take a chance on myself, and I'm willing to obsess in the small moments that I have before or after work. What's his name? Grisham, the writer.
Yeah, John
John
Grisham.
Grisham, right.
Yeah.
Lawyer, didn't want to do it from him, as far as I remember. So
Yes.
he got up in the morning at 4 and wrote. And after work, he came home and wrote again, even with that hour or two afterwards. Begin making small steps. That was towards whatever this goal is that you want. They don't have to be big steps, but they do need to be steps.
I'm pretty sure, speaking of these kinds of steps, we could relate this time to the pocket change. And I'm sure we've all had this time where you need a loaf of bread and a
Yeah.
stick of butter. What was that thing that we would see?
A
A
loaf of
container of
bread,
milk?
container of milk, and a stick of butter.
That's right.
Yes.
And sometimes you're looking for change because you're saying, okay, I got the stick of butter and the bread
Yes.
covered, but
Yes.
I need a little bit
I need
more.
the container of milk.
I need that container of milk. And so, what a great
So
memory,
good.
right?
So
What a
good.
great memory.
So good.
So,
Yes.
somebody is listening to this and maybe they're laughing, hoping that they're laughing along with us, but they're realizing that, okay, John Grisham, well, he had 2 hours in the morning
Right.
and he had maybe an hour and a half, 90 minutes at night before having to put the kids down, or after putting the children down.
Right.
And
Yes.
there you go. That's like your spare change that would have bought the container of milk and the stick of butter
Right.
and
Right.
the loaf of bread. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got to be conscious of our time and realize how precious and how valuable what we can actually accomplish with that is.
Right.
There's so I would say that's a misconception maybe then, that people might say, well, I never thought of time like my spare change. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'm looking around because I need to get I want some grilled cheese sandwiches and I got the
Right.
bread, but
Right. Right.
I'm gonna find some change in these cushions, get some cheese.
Yes.
What are those other misconceptions maybe about pursuing dreams later in life that you've encountered, and how have you been able to maybe help people work through them or address them?
Okay. We're having a lot of fun, hard conversations, and that's okay. That's what the whole point. So let me just share something else that is controversial, I guess, or not
Okay.
really talked about in the scheme of this whole journey. You don't necessarily need to share your goal and dream with the people who are currently around you. And let me explain to you
Okay.
why. A lot of times people are very happy and very comfortable with the way that you fit into their story and explanation about why they are where they are in their life. You mess around and say, hey, I want to go do A, B, C, or D. You're messing with their story. So oftentimes, if you're going to change your story and you don't want to hear well, what about this? What about that? Because you don't need that I heard a minister say, the best time to kill a dream is in infant stage. The best time to kill a king is in infant stage. So you don't want to, put your goal and dreams in jeopardy by exposing them in infant stage. Many times, even though we want to, and I've lived this, which is why I know I've lived what I'm telling you, keep it to yourself and get to work. They can find out once you've, reached a level of maturity in your mission.
Yep. And level
That
of
would be one thing.
success. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that is worth the price of combing your hair and getting up this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So the other component then of this, keeping the mouth shut, is the resilience. That's definitely a common theme in success stories. Can you share maybe a significant setback that you might have faced where you had to say, oh, how am I bouncing back from this one?
There are so many, but let me give you the one that pops in immediately in my mind. I was recently married. I just lost my job, and we were living in LA, and we just got a new place that I could barely afford with the job that I had. So my wife is going off to work, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out what I'm going to do for work. Super depressed, super down. And one morning before she gets ready to go to work, we hear a knock at the door. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Someone's like knocking aggressively at our door. So I'm like, hopping up and I go, it's the repo guy for my car. And I knew this was happening because I hadn't paid them because I didn't have the money. I hadn't paid my car note in 2 to 3 months. So they came and picked up my car. So now, not only do I not have a job, I don't have a car to go even apply for a job. And I have no money. And, for me as a guy, like, my wife is leaving to go to work, and I'm like feeling myself like I'm like the bum of the century. In that moment, that's how I felt. And oddly enough, in the moment of lying on the floor, crying, I was like crying like Viola Davis, like tears and runny nose and the whole deal. After she left, I'm like just like losing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I have to do something. And, I'll never forget, through my tears of like, I didn't see this book, but through my tears, I see this book, Think and Grow Rich. It was in cassette form on the counter. Her uncle had given it to her early, and it was a cassette. So I popped it in. And that was the first time I heard anything about your mindset and how your mindset affects your life and how you can, change your thoughts and it'll change your actions. I was maybe 26, 27, somewhere in there. And that was the beginning of my like, oh, your mind is a part of this. And that was one of the lowest moments that changed my life.
I will say, I don't know what it's like now, but public transit was not the best in LA. If you didn't
No,
have a car, I mean,
you were done. It's pretty tough. Yeah.
no kidding.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is designed for vehicular transportation
Yes. Yes.
in
Yes.
that
Yeah.
place. And that book, Think and Grow Rich, we'll put that as number 2 or 3 on our list of books that we're talking about today, because people got to get
Yeah.
your books.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
that idea that there is more gold mined from the
Mm,
minds of men and
yes.
women than from the mines of the earth. Oh man. We hear about the gold rush,
Yes.
but you know what? People do not talk about the shop owners that sold the shovels and the wood and the hammers
Hey.
and the things that the gold rush people needed.
Yes. Yes.
And so what a great book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've all had those setbacks. And ladies and gentlemen,
Mm,
feel free if you're feeling authentic. We do have a comment section, so you could write something in the comments
that's awesome.
about that. And because we've all been there, we've all had
Oh my
those.
God.
And in the moment of somebody coming and you're seeing your pride and joy hooked up to a tow truck. And also, I will say, coming from a husband's point of view, we all know that the missus likes a successful mister
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
house. So you're not only dealing with somebody taking your vehicular pride and joy, but you're like, oh man, my wife had to see that. It would have been better if you would have left early.
Man, even like just thinking about that moment, man, that was rough.
And then we got to come back from it. And we hopefully, after listening to that cassette, you were like, all right, you can take my car. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
3 more. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you're not keeping me down,
Right.
repo man. He's just
Right.
doing his job. And so
Hey. Not personal. Like Squid Games, go back. It's not personal.
It's not personal.
It's nothing against you. He's just doing his job.
He's just
So
doing his
yeah,
job.
yeah.
It's all right. I'm going to come back with 3 more cars, and I'm going to pay cash for
Hey,
those.
yes,
Put that on
yes,
your vision list, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to pay
exactly,
cash for that car. And
exactly.
hey, I love buying a brand new vehicle. Let me tell you. I know there's some radio people out there that
Yes,
might tell
yes,
you not to do that, but
yes,
ladies and
yes, yes.
gentlemen,
You only live
you
once.
you know, yes, and we believe in you. You can do it.
Yes.
You can do
Enjoy
it.
it. You deserve. Like at one time, it's like it's funny because when I started doing well, it's funny. I bought because when I was a kid, Jordans was a big deal, right? And
Okay.
we weren't
Yeah.
able to get them because they were at the time they were $80.
Yeah.
$80 for
$20
some
bills.
shoes, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, so when I got older, it's funny. I bought like 4 or 5 pair of the classic ones, and Michael, let
Okay.
me tell you, as soon as I got them, I wore them maybe once or twice. And I was like, okay, that. But just having had the experience is something I think everyone needs to have in life. So you're like, oh, okay, I did that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Have that
yeah,
experience and to
yeah,
understand you learn the other side of marketing in that same environment as well.
right.
How has your definition evolved over time from owning some Jordans to now moving past those things? Can you talk about that changing of that definition?
Yeah. So I think Jim Carrey and Will Smith both said the same thing in different unconnected situations, which is I wish everyone could have a chance to get all the things they think they want, only to realize because once you do, you realize it's just stuff. The most important thing is connection and time with the humans that you love. But telling someone that who hasn't had whatever that is hard. But I can tell you the thing that I learned on the other side of the stuff is of having some of the things that I thought were unreachable. It's just stuff. It
Well,
loses magic real
that's right.
fast.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
We could loses its luster, right? But we
so
could
fast.
we could think of the great Bob Marley
Ah,
when he was asked about
yes.
if he was rich.
The things make you
And
rich.
there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. And he didn't have those kinds of riches. He had better
No.
riches. Man.
They're
And then
much, much better riches. Yes.
much better. And
Yeah.
we think of the Bible and it talks about storing up for ourselves treasures in heaven. And boy, when you think that Jesus himself said that heaven was within us.
Mm.
So then
Have you been reading like my diary? It's like, what is going on here? This is crazy.
man, your wife slipped me an advance copy.
All
But
right.
I'm just kidding.
Good grief.
But ladies and gentlemen, if you think it's not in some place far off for eternity only, it is like in the depths of your friend and your brother and your sister and your enemy. Store up
Yes.
for yourselves treasure in that heaven.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. What's the
That
verse says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. All these things will
Yeah.
be added unto you when you seek first the kingdom of God. Then they're going to say, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven
Yeah.
is within you.
Yeah. So powerful. It's inside each one of us. And so we can store up our treasures inside
Yes.
your coworkers, the people you
Yeah.
love, the people you don't love. And
Yes.
then you actually learn to love them because you realize, oh, I've invested treasure in this man or this woman, and they drive me crazy, but I'm storing up for myself
Yes.
treasures
Yes.
in
Yes.
these people. And what a wonderful vision of the human condition and mission that we can store up treasures in those around us. Man, wow. I don't even think I have to go to church on Sunday.
That's so awesome.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, man. This has been really fun. This is great.
So much fun. So much fun. I just give us your website one more time.
Sure. Yeah. Troy Horn, TroyHorne.com. Yeah.
That's great. And also talk to us about your podcast.
Okay. So yeah. So I have like a solo podcast that I do myself that's just kind of talking about life and hopefully helping people through their day to day. I talk a lot of entrepreneurship. I talk a lot of just mindful stuff that hopefully helps people through life. And yeah, so
That's good.
that's
And
that
that's
whole
the
deal.
Troy Horn Show.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can find that just about anywhere podcasts are played, ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen. So as we're wrapping up, we got a minute or two left. What is one message that you'd like to leave our listeners, maybe about passion and purpose or some Troy Horn philosophy?
Anything that you have been given the gift to see in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. It's like, again, I went to LA. I can't say this enough, with $1,500 total to my name in a 1985 standard shift Nissan Sentra. Didn't know no air conditioning. Didn't know anybody, had no connections, had never played any instruments really successfully, had never written any songs. I went there with the idea this is what I'm going to do. Left there having done a record deal, toured the world, started on Broadway, been in film and television. Anything you have in your mind, if you can see it, you can go get it. Now, it's going to be there are going to be moments, there are going to be turnback moments where you're going to be tested. But if you keep going, anything you can have. I firmly believe that.
Amen to that. Troy, thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experience with us today. Man, what a conversation.
This was so much fun. I really had a great time. This is fun.
Amen to that. Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to connect with Troy's message, I strongly encourage you pick up a copy of Middle Management, whether you're feeling stuck in your career, contemplating a bold change, tired of not seeing the misses or the mister around, or simply seeking to rediscover your passion. The book is going to impart inspiration, give you some practical guidance as you move forward with your vision. We believe you can do it. We know you can do it. And you can learn a lot from Troy's work. Connect with him on his website, his social media, the podcast. Uh, there is a lot of wealth. As we talked about the book, there's far more gold found in the minds of men than the minds of the earth. So just remember, it's troyhorn.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the 5 a.m. podcast. I hope you had as much fun as Troy and I had today. He's going to have to come back. We're going to have to have another Troy Horn special edition of the 5
I would
a.m.
love it.
podcast. Keep dreaming, ladies and gentlemen. Keep doing it. Keep moving forward. Keep writing on your vision board, writing it down and making it plain. Please, as you do, seize your days, enjoy those sunrises and sunsets, and all those beautiful adventures in between. I'm Michael Clausen. Thanks for watching the show. Just a reminder that you can get all of our resources, other episodes, and read our blog posts at 5ampodcast.com. 5am Podcast is brought to you in part by mkci.ca, a certified member of the Autodesk Developer Network. MKCI helps companies maximize their AutoCAD, Inventor, Navisworks, and other design software investments. Their innovative products like the CommandSys script editor and the Clash Management Suite will streamline your workflow and boost your productivity. Visit mkci.ca today to discover how they can enhance your competitive CAD advantage. That's mkci.ca. Thank you for your support of 5am Podcast. Need morning momentum? 5am Podcast, Wednesdays, 7 a.m. on WDJY 99.1 FM.